Yo, it's the boys with the heat coming at you live. Got Charles on the mic, spitting deep facts and takes that drive. Never forget him and his sexy shades, always in style. PR rolling in from the hot ass south. Chicago Bears fan with a smile. Better remember his name, he's the real deal, no doubt. And that guy's here too, making shit up, memes flying out his mouth. Never giving a fuck, always keeping it real, that's the vibe. Welcome to our sports podcast where we bring that hype. Boys with the heat, we're bringing the fire from the south to the north, lifting you higher, facts and fun, we got the game on lock. Tune in, turn up, we're never gonna stop. Roar's got the insights, Bears pride in his veins. Charles with the wisdom, breaking down the games. And that guy's the wild card, memes and laughs galore. Together we ignite, keep you coming back for more. Gather round, even haters can't deny. We bring the truth and we ain't ever shy. Sports talk with a twist, yeah, you know the crew. It's the boys with the heat, always something new. Boys with the heat, we're bringing the fire from the south to the north, lifting you higher, facts and fun, we got the game on lock. Tune in, turn up, we're never gonna stop. So stay with us through every win and loss. Boys with the heat, see the haters later in the comments.
Yeah, did you see the one end? The one where you're stamping on the little kid?
Yeah.
Little second grade.
Yeah.
Did you see how it went big kids? There's just one like tough bully standing in front of the school bus.
Yeah.
I didn't really pick that out until after the end. That's great.
I was also laughing too, right? Because at the very beginning, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at myself, and I'm like, fuck. I'm wearing the same goddamn thing I was.
But realistically, that was like almost 2 weeks ago.
It probably
It's
was,
fine.
but so I'm like, fuck. So I got up and
Yeah,
any chance
okay.
I get to wear the inside real quick. You know, any chance I get to wear this, I'm not gonna say no. All right, well, it's the talk of the talk everywhere right now. The WNBA, Caitlin Clark. And it seems if we just give it a few days, somebody ends up deciding to go, what? Nobody's put a foot in their mouth in a minute. Why don't I go put my foot in my own mouth? And this week, courtesy, not sponsored yet, but looking for a sponsor, your foot in the mouth of the week, super early. But I'm confident in giving this one out to a Mr. Pat McAfee. Patrick, why don't you go ahead and explain a little bit what's been going on?
We can put it in our words happen. So Pat McAfee went on his show today. I believe it was today's show. And he was just rambling on about the WNBA. And he was making points. And then all of a sudden he brought up this point. He goes, the WNBA is not what we think it is. The WNBA rookies come down to one thing. One white bee that's a superstar. And that white bee that he said was Caitlin Clark. And regardless of the context, you and I both know we have emotionally a large amount of respect for women. We do make fun of them sometimes in certain aspects. And
not as much as we do the men, but yeah.
But not anything derogatory like this. And I get what he was saying, but the way he said it, you have a writer in a script. You cannot tell me that guy didn't look at that and second guess himself and go, that was probably a bad call on my part. Really fucking bad call.
Personal opinion coming at you real hot, real fiery.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that was even scripted. We're talking ESPN. This has been the norm for ESPN over the last 5 or 6 years. This is the type of stuff they breed. They breed diversity, and they love it.
And diversity. But also the other half of that is, are they really that desperate for like clicks and media attention that they go to this extreme that you just literally start accusing people and calling them names?
It would be hard to believe, especially considering those that have done this in the past have found themselves employed by the Bleacher instead of ESPN moving forward.
Because there was an ESPN basketball analyst, not to be named on this show, but he also said a racial thing and he got fired. But that was because of backlash of comments. Pat McAfee is one of those guys. Like, personally, I really don't care that he said it because Caitlin Clark and him are probably buddies.
Personally, I really enjoy the guy.
Yeah, but I was like, wow.
Yeah, especially for him being a Colt from Indianapolis. That seems... It seems like he may have forgot where he was. He's having a conversation in the locker room on the radio.
Absolutely.
That happens.
What he was trying to say, he's trying to say she's a badass.
Absolutely.
He wasn't trying to be like, oh, she is a B.
And I feel bad for him too, Patrick. I don't mean to cut you off. I feel bad for him too, but when you're reading about this and watching this, it does feel like it's a black versus white thing. And that's weird because it's not, or not supposed to be. So understandably, Patrick maybe emphatically in that moment just forgot he wasn't in a locker room.
And you and I have I think there's about 100 and some comments on our Caitlin Clark short video. And I just want to let everybody know that I appreciate the comments. Charles and I both appreciate the comments, but please absolutely keep this not racial. Come on, man. You guys are better than that. Nobody deserves that kind of bullshit. So
we don't do that here on the show.
It. You're never going to see either one of us like any of those comments. You want to say that that she's being discriminated against because she is a rookie? Sure, absolutely, 100%. Because she's good, don't call her the GOAT. Come on, you guys, be better than that. She's a rookie. She's got a long way to go before she's a basketball player. Yeah. There's so many trolls on there. I do appreciate the amount of trolls that are on there. But
honestly, I troll Ronaldo sites hard.
I troll Ronaldo sites?
I troll Ronaldo's. Nice. I get the most reactions. Yeah. I'm a clean troll. I live a more peaceful lifestyle than I did 10, 12 years ago, right? So
even since we started this podcast, when we first started the podcast, you would send me screenshots of almost like words of war that you would have on your Twitter, and then you and I just got away from Twitter. If anybody's out there, Twitter is for trolls. As much as I would love to have a Twitter out there, there's nothing but negative things that happen on Twitter.
The sad part is, and this has nothing to do with who purchased it or who didn't purchase it.
Oh, so, absolutely not.
Anybody who wants to run with it if you want, it doesn't matter. Because this is before who purchased it, we couldn't say anything at all. It's way better than it was. But now, yes.
Right.
And I have heard that if you just search specific things, but you go into the comments and you're just sad when you leave. And this is holding true for most of social media right now. I can't tell you the last time. Sorry, baseball's falling out of my ear. But I can't tell you the last time that I went into a comment section and was like, damn, I'm going to go look this up. Or damn, I'm much better off than I was 4 minutes ago.
Not on Twitter.
Most of the time, man, I'm just like, what the fuck, man? What?
Like that song that I had on last week says, Twitter is for trolls. Instagram is where people go to take selfies and TikTok as well to boost your ego. And then Facebook is where you go where you'll get the headlines, but then all the comments underneath it are just completely, they change their point of view. Like they go back and forth like this. It makes no sense.
Why is the algorithm constantly
it's fake news,
ADHD individual with parents who don't believe in modern science, right? Like, why does it seem like I looked up a Joey Swole video a few months ago, right? I like the guy. He's cool. He calls out weirdos in the gym for being just fucking mean and terrible, and I loved that. I was like, oh, these are some cool videos. Dude, for the last couple of months, it's, oh my God, I don't want to see these gym videos anymore, dude. Like, I don't care if you're on your OnlyFans or anything. Like, I looked at 2 fucking videos, man. And they're like, the algorithms, oh my God, he's here. This is what he likes. Let's get him. And I'm like, okay, bye.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. But we strayed a little bit from the Pat McAfee thing here.
That's all right.
So he's come out and he's made some apologies.
It isn't going to matter what he what he said. It's
personally,
I think
it don't matter.
Already know.
But it's ESPN, so I don't think he's got that much to worry about.
Oh no, he's fine. Nobody's gonna stop watching his show or listening to him because
Well,
he
it's in
said
all the
that.
bars, yeah, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Regardless, yeah.
Here's the thing. It's gotten so big where it's everywhere. You go to a restaurant and you sit down, or you go up to a bar to get a drink. You go up there to freaking go to the bathroom and look over while you're waiting to get into the restroom. It's up there on the TV. It's everywhere. It's all over the radio.
Oh, so you shout out YouTube TV. Do what you want, everyone out there.
Yeah,
So
I have it as well. I
Yeah, I
have
was
YouTube TV.
I was looking through the sports section because I was like, oh, what's this? Sports. I ended up finding the Timber Rattlers on some Poly Sports thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. So I got to watch the Timber Rattlers before I was taking a nap. I was like, that was
Yeah,
cool.
the T-Rats are on every now and again.
Yeah, June 26th, I believe, is the next time they're on the old TV.
Nice.
And we'll be there, not us as a show, but you're more than welcome. Star Wars night, July 13th. We got a
Ooh.
patio seat. Yeah, so we're taking the in-laws. The wife and I, we're going to be taking the in-laws. The father-in-law is a huge Star Wars fan. So,
Well, Mandy wants to know when you and Rachel want to go to a Brewers game.
okay.
Doesn't matter when. It's anytime this summer or even early fall.
Yeah.
We'll figure
Yeah.
something out.
Yeah, I would love to
long-
go to a playoff game,
As,
dude.
as long as it's not on as long as it's not on a Packer preseason game or something. So we
Yeah,
can,
yeah. We'll have to. Yeah, we will keep the waters in motion on that definitively. We went to a playoff game last year, and we're gonna catch Casamigos Patio again. We get our own waitress or waiter.
where was this?
Casamigos Patio, yeah, at Brewers. It was
think-
by the X Golf, bro. Super chill location.
Mandy would think she was asking. She goes, "What, do these people just staying the whole time?" I go, "No, someone's bringing them drinks. Like that's like a place you go."
And a whole fucking food menu.
Really?
Had curds, burgers, chicken
Must they just-
sammies.
Oh, that's perfect.
Wraps, salads. Yeah, dude.
I would
yeah.
just be-
oh, it
I'd
was
be
so
heaven with
chill.
food, man.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah. They got
awesome.
their own restroom too. Super chill, bro. Super chill.
Yeah, that's
Yep, yep.
definitely the way to go.
Yeah, they got their own bar. Casamigos Patio. Shout out. Super cheap seats. Super cheap
I
seats.
thought you were trying to say shit. Super cheap sheet.
Sheet. No, I'm not trying to fuck with the algorithm. Sometimes good, sometimes sheet.
Yes.
But yeah, super. It was super cheap seats. Considering, I think it was like $104 a
Oh
ticket.
man, that's great.
Yeah, yeah, and you weren't like nut to fucking butt or
Nice.
nothing like that. It was
Yeah, that's definitely something I'd be interested in for sure.
yeah. So we'll definitely hit up Casamigos Patio. We met a wonderful couple there too. Some locals, season ticket holders, go to every game, but hell, it was playoffs. Since the wife and I have moved to Wisconsin, if the Packers or the Brewers, I didn't get to a Milwaukee playoff game,
I'm telling you, man,
kicking myself in the ass. I should have
It's
went to a
starting to
Bucks.
look like they're going to be the front runner to win the division. So it's looking good right now. Like you always said, I want to
Well,
see you 2-3
think-
weeks after the 4th of July.
Yeah. Way too early chatter here. Let's jump right into it. Or actually, before we do that, I would like to mention something real quick about the WNBA. I was hearing a lot today about the WNBA is a physical league. It's a physical league. Trying to compare it to the 90s NBA. And I puked in my mouth 3 times today hearing that. It's just, leave it at
Hearing
that.
it, saying it, and then somebody reverberating it again. Yes.
Yeah, 3 times in my mouth. Miss me with that shit. Miss me with that shit. On to the Brewers. They're playing the Phillies right now, and I believe they're down to...
Phillies are a good baseball team. It's a good test.
Yeah. Right now, the
Very
Phillies
good
and the
test.
Yankees. Phillies and the Yankees are the 2 best teams in the old
In old
league right now.
baseball.
As things are going, playoff-wise, it is looking like we're going to be, if we have hopes of making the World Series, we're going to be either facing the Dodgers or the Philly. Dodgers are
Right.
been on a little slump.
Yeah, you're basically going to have to go through either one of those teams.
Yeah. And we'll be playing at their home.
Yeah.
But division-wise, it's looking like we should get a home playoff series. Way too early chatter here, but it's looking really nice. The Brewers are coming out playing a specific type of baseball. We're not scoring runs one way. We're hitting home runs one night. We're playing small ball the next. It's a mixture of small ball with home runs. We're having an issue with runners in scoring position. and I'm hoping Pat gets that figured out.
Yeah.
There was a lot of preseason chatter about Pat, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out why those people aren't coming out apologizing right now.
Oh, absolutely. Here's my take, though. This is like night and day compared to what the Brewers would have done last year with Counsell and what Counsell actually did versus the Brewers. Like, he did his typical take the guy out when he's reeling, when he's doing really good, and then he put the bullpen guy in. Guess what? The bullpen guy sucks, struggles, gives up some runs. He also had runners on second base. He doesn't try to bunt guys over. Guess what? The Brewers come in. I believe it was Trang was on second base. Come in, they bunted him over to third base. Guess what?
Yeah.
Pop fly out center field, get a run.
I think he's 19 for 19 in stolen bases right now. Terang is, bro. He's just watching him play right now is just magical.
Smart baseball player.
Yeah, Jackson Churio doing some great things. He's going through his rookie ups and downs, but his ups are longer than his downs so far.
Well, defensively, he is not a liability out there.
No. Sal Frelick. Oh, man. Sal Frelick can wheel and deal, baby.
Yeah, he's quick.
Look at the 210s up there.
Yeah.
The 210s up there. But, yeah, it's been really fun baseball to watch. Bless me.
Bless you.
Bless me. I'm sorry. I wanted a Quentin Williams moment. I'm so glad I got it.
Speaking of, yes.
Bless me. So, anywho. Yeah, so we went into Chicago. Or did Chicago come to us? We were playing Chicago at home.
Yeah, they were in. When they played them in Wrigley, I believe they. What I think it was a rubber match, or did they lose 3 out of 4?
3-0 Phillies now.
No, I think maybe they split 2-2 when they played, or it was 3. They lost 2-1.
When we played in Chicago?
Yeah, they lost 2 and 1-1, I believe the Brewers did, but they won 3 out of 4 in Milwaukee.
Yes, yeah,
so
in Milwaukee.
They're technically a game up on the Cubs in the series.
And I believe we're 8.5 up in totality right now. I think my favorite moment of that series was when the Brewers destroyed Imanama, my guy.
My guy? My guy? Yeah. Dude, a lot of people were like looking at this guy. Like, even the guy was on Pat McAfee's show. He went on there and Pat asked him, he goes, how do you feel about the way you're pitching? He goes, I'm honestly surprised that I'm doing this good.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty humble guy.
Very humble guy.
Good player.
I really enjoy the dude. I really do. I enjoy his personality. I enjoy who he was or who he is on the diamond. He approaches the game very well.
Wasn't he Japan's number 2 prospect behind Shohei Ohtani?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So they spent a lot of money on this guy. It's not like he's a nobody. He's a
came
nobody
into the
just
game.
in case you're new to baseball.
He had come into that Brewers game with a .84 ERA.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
He had 5 starts, 5 wins, or 6 starts, 6 wins, or something like that. He had not lost. He had not had a loss in the United States yet going into that Brewers game.
Damn.
And then I asked myself, Craig, why the hell did you keep that dude in there for that long?
Well,
I don't have to question it. We watched it for the last how many years? That's Craig Counsell.
That's why.
That's what Craig Counsell does. It's good sometimes, and it's terrible most of the time.
So I noticed before you wanted to talk about the next series that Chicago had with the Brewers, the Chicago White Sox came to town, and outside of the one game where they probably should have won had they not went to their bullpen and blew it.
Which is the MO of the Chicago White Sox this year.
But the epitome of that the White Sox are not very far away from being a halfway decent baseball team.
They just can't find consistency. Either their starting pitcher is terrible and their bullpen rocks, or their starting pitching is locked down, but their bullpen is terrible, or their starting pitching and bullpen is terrible and their offense is actually okay. The Chicago White Sox just can't seem to have a good offense with a decent starting pitching followed by a shutdown bullpen, because you can't win a baseball game with offense and a decent starting pitcher and you don't have the shutdown bullpen.
Right.
If you have phenomenal offense, you can have decent, right? It takes that trifecta in baseball, in case you're new to this. But yeah,
I would like
so
you
we
to
get the
break-
clean sweep.
Yes,
Go ahead.
but there is a very special and very particular part about the sweep that made it very sweet, and we're going to talk about the top of the 8th inning,
Yes.
and we're going to talk about a Mr. Pham and a Mr. Contreras.
Absolutely.
Now, the way that I found the play, the Contreras. All right, let's just break it down for everybody. The ball was hit. He tagged. Well, did he tag or was it a hit? I can't remember if he tagged or if it was a hit. Either way,
Either or. Yeah.
Pham was running from third base. There's throw in, beat him by about a good 3 steps. Contreras gets the ball. He's about 4 feet in front of him, just stands on home plate, tags him out. But Pham goes hard into him. Instead of sliding, he just runs into him, which was weird to me to begin with. So the fact that you're puffing your chest after this and pissed off that he's excited because they made a
terrible
really good
base running
play.
Yeah.
Terrible base running, exactly.
Yeah.
So Contreras chirps at him a little bit, like our buddy Trev's chirps at him, and he gets pissed off at him, and then we have a bench clearing brawl. Doesn't make any sense to me. Not really a brawl, but the bench
clearing incident, which is something that is happening a lot with the Brewers today. I'm here for it. I love it. July 27th. We've got the whole family going down to the ballpark for a family reunion-ish shindig, tailgate, cookout. That's baseball, baby. I love it. We have had a benches clearing incident with 1/3 or 1/5
of the series.
Of the AL East. We don't even play in the AL East.
No, we don't even play me.
We play fucking National League.
But
so
it's other teams that just don't give a fuck, like the Tigers, shit like that.
Yeah. So my personal opinion on the Pham situation is you have a terrible teammate playing on the Chicago White Sox in this Pham character. And we've grown since the show started is coming out because I really want to rip into this dude, but he's young, and I'm guessing he'll learn from this. I'm hoping he'll learn from this because you're just on a terrible team. You made a terrible base running decision, and it's not a decision you would have made on a non-terrible baseball team. And the Brewers, who are a good baseball team, heading in a good direction. Contreras, this is nothing new from Contreras. He is a hot shot catcher, right?
Yep.
The dude's got a cannon. He's got an eye for the ball. He catches well. He frames beautifully. Pitchers love him. He can hit for contact, hit for power. I love the dude. And defensively, he's very good. But he's also a competitor, which if Pham was on the opposite end of this call, he would have acted the same way. For Pham then to come out and be like, I fight in the offseason because this is what I do. You play baseball, bro, on a terrible team, and you let your emotions get the better of you, and then you wanted to fight somebody on the baseball diamond?
Right.
Real cool.
Guess what? Here's
Mr.
one of the
Pham.
comments too, Charles, that I was going through this. So it said, one of the guys was like, let's just give this guy a shout out. His name is Deadpool 1092 on YouTube. If he's got a YouTube channel, check him out. It says Contreras literally ate a direct slide nowhere near the plate in an attempt to dislodge the ball, and Pham has the balls to get mad that Contreras was pumped for shutting him down. That pretty much sums up from what I saw as well. I agree with that guy 100%. That's pretty much what happened.
You have a terrible teammate on a terrible team who made a terrible personal choice to get angry. And then shame on his team. Yeah,
because it didn't seem like it was a third base coach.
No.
Yeah.
And shame on his teammates for indulging in such a thing. But you can't blame them. They're on a terrible baseball team.
Right.
And terrible things keep happening to them. Honestly, they've got the call of the year against them with the interference in there when they were in the middle of a momentum shifting comeback against the Orioles. I feel bad for them, but I don't feel terrible. For one, it's a Chicago team. Drink Lake Michigan water for all I care.
Here's the thing. I have no problem with you in that moment getting heated that you're out or whatever.
You made
a
stupid decision.
Yeah, you made a stupid decision. Come back the next inning and make a play, do something. They always say that.
Pick up your teammate's bat and break it on your knee or some shit.
Sure, do something. Yeah. Speaking of which, remember that? Did you see the dude, the Lopez guy, for the Mets that got pissed and tossed his glove in the stands?
Yeah, and then immediately got DFA'd.
Yeah.
In a
What the
5
hell about?
hour span. Yeah,
That, I don't.
DFA'd.
I guess because you're throwing a foreign object into the stands is the reason. I guess that literally is Major League Baseball's. Had he
Well,
walked up and handed the glove to a
Yeah.
kid or something, they wouldn't have done that.
I think ultimately what got him DFA'd was the presser
Well,
afterwards.
the presser afterwards
When
saying
he was like, "Yeah, I'm on a terrible team.
no, he said not only that, he said I'm on the worst team in baseball. or
I'm on the
something.
worst team in baseball." Yeah, and the reporter's, "Can you elaborate on that? And is that how you really feel?" And he like, "Yeah, I'm on a terrible team."
Yeah.
And literally like a couple hours later, old boy's DFA'd.
He said
That
he
dude
didn't
ain't
care
going
though,
nowhere.
so good for him for having the balls to say it. But that's being a shitty teammate as well, like you said. It's
So let's
It comes with
discuss why a
territory.
team. Let's discuss why a team is terrible. Is the team terrible because of ownership?
if you're the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, okay, that's a really bad example because you're talking about 20 some years of absolute nonsense here.
Yeah. After this season, it'll be a solid 10 years.
I guess
fuckery.
take the Mets because they spent a shit ton of money. They shouldn't be bad.
Okay, and even with Chicago, even with the White Sox, they're not a
Yeah.
team that we hear doesn't spend money. We never hear terrible things about the ownership. Okay. Is a team terrible because of their coach? Or do they lose games they're supposed to win because of their coach?
I would say I would prioritize it and say it exactly how you just said it. I would say that they resemble their coach's attitude and the way that he coaches on the field.
So we
Honestly,
don't-
Yeah, I'd put it in that order.
Yeah. So we don't call a terrible team because of a coach.
No,
We
there's been
we
great
feel
teams.
bad for good teams that have terrible coaches.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wouldn't put the Mets or the White Sox in that category, would you?
No.
Okay, so I guess just doing simple math here, they're a terrible team because of the players playing the game right now,
Right.
currently.
Let's
They're
just-
not communicating. They're not.
Effort.
They're terrible effort. They're not doing the extra. They're not putting in the extra work. And I don't know this. I'm not a fly on their wall, but looking at the product they're putting out on the field constantly.
Let's just say this. I can take a prime example of the A's back in the early to mid 2000s. They
Yeah.
actually made the playoffs, and the couple of years before it, they were like a terrible team. I think they won 59, 60 some games.
Yeah.
They almost lost 100 games. And they became a team of cohesiveness, play for each other, play for your brotherhood, all this stuff.
Right.
A basketball team can do this. There's a baseball team,
Right.
a college team doing this right now in Division 3. They're in the Baseball World Series for Division 3. They don't even have a
Yeah.
school. They don't have
They don't
dorms
even
to
have a
go
school.
back to.
Yeah. Yeah.
This can happen.
Yeah, because from what I saw from the White Sox was when a ball was hit to them, there was a small moment where
What, indecisiveness? Quite possibly.
yeah, sorry, something was happening in the baseball game.
Oh no!
It's
I
exciting.
literally thought you froze. Oh, it's even better. I was waiting for you to talk, and I was like, "Is he frozen?"
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Where were we there?
No, we were talking about there was a moment in the White Sox game.
Oh yeah,
where,
thank you. So there was a moment where when the ball was hit to the defender, they almost had this exhausting. Here we go again. Instead of that quick jump to make the defensive play. And I get it, when you're on a terrible team, those things happen. But unfortunately for the White Sox and the Mets, this is just like it was for Milwaukee. If we're the Milwaukee Bucks, if we're going to be honest, it was teammates not willing to make the move from alpha to sigma. And that's where you are with the White Sox. And it boiled over with that fam moment. And I'm not shocked at all. I'm not shocked at all when you have a teammate like that the locker room has such toxicity. I don't know what type of coach can fix that. So I'm interested in seeing how the White Sox move forward.
prime example is, I believe it was the Steelers that said that there was a certain particular player that was a toxic player in the locker room, and they got rid of him.
And the conveniently, perfect segue. Let's move right into NFL. Conveniently, that player has recently come out in favor of his new quarterback. He was just traded to Carolina, I believe, if we're on the same page.
Yeah.
That was Mr. Deontay Johnson. Yeah, and he
Yeah,
just
that's
came
correct.
out and he said, yeah, Bryce is super intelligent. He's super talented. I'm super excited to be here.
Of course you're going to say that because you're wide receiver number one.
Absolutely. And you were in a toxic state. You were the poison.
And here's the thing, Charles. I believe you're going to agree with me. I always say this because I always believe that you're thinking what I'm thinking. Of course he's going to say that. He's going to say that until he drops a pass or the locker room becomes toxic because of his attitude. And I'm not getting the ball enough. We're not winning. It does fester. But then there's Hall of Famers. There's a guy that played for the Cleveland Browns forever. It was an offensive lineman. I believe it was Brown. And he made like the Pro Bowl like 11 years in a row.
Joe Thomas.
Yeah, Joe Thomas. Yeah, he made the Pro Bowl like 11 years out of the 13 years he was in the NFL. And guess what? The guy never, I don't think he sniffed a playoff game.
No.
But guess what? He came to work every day and he produced.
Yeah. Speaking on the Browns, Deshaun Watson is looking super healthy right now. All reports are 2020 like.
You saw the Christian Watson post that I sent you as well, hey?
Let's jump right into that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Let's break this down. I looked up what the muscle mass conversion, what it should be, and the report is that it should be only between 8 to 10% in one leg or the other, because that means he's favoring one leg when he pushes off instead of it does make sense, but how much weight should we throw into that? Are they just saying this to get us off the trail, off of his back?
This could be groundbreaking, to be honest with you. Technology advances.
Sure.
It continues to advance. And hamstrings have been an issue in the NFL. So it makes sense that at the college level, which he did a lot of his work, his most recent work here at the University of Wisconsin. Shout out University of Wisconsin, continuing to do beautiful things inside and out. When football season starts, we're going to burn your ass.
So it's cool what they did to test it. I looked it up. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was like this. It's like this bicycle that like you hold on up here and you press one leg at a time, and it measures like the stretch strength of your hamstrings by doing some kind of weird CT scan. Your legs are in this like egg-shaped looking thing, and it literally is taking like x-rays of your leg muscles as you're doing it, so they can literally measure them. It's cool. Technology's awesome.
Absolutely. Where I believe we are with this sentence, where we are on the timeline of this, I believe that it's somewhere around the, wow, that seems weird category. Yeah. But if this works,
if it's true,
it could be groundbreaking in the regards of player safety moving forward. This, when you come into OTAs and mandatory mini camps, these are things that you're going to get tested, so we can look, in a sense, on the same scale, taking the emotion out of it. We're looking at a tornado warning. We can give you a little bit of a warning to get right, and if you take that warning and teams allow you to get right, we can remove this injury from. So like when the sensor pops, right? Like they don't play that week, and they do things to refocus. Maybe it's a week, maybe it's 2 weeks. But if you don't do that and they play that week, then they're hurt for 2/3 of the season. So you take the good with the bad. Can you prevent it knowing now or finding out now?
Probably never going to be able to prevent it, because obviously it could happen in the middle of a long run. But general maintenance on it, quite possibly that could be a huge issue.
We can live more in the 80% not.
Yeah,
instead of the 40-50%.
Right. We'll call it preventative maintenance for the hammy.
Absolutely.
There you go.
I'm excited because Christian Watson's a baller. I talked a little bit of smoke on the last Sunday episode.
Speed, skill-wise, when his hands are on, his hands are fantastic. When he can catch the ball in open space, he's lightning in a bottle, waiting to be unleashed.
And understandably, for the kid to put his entire offseason towards this hamstring,
he must have knew that it was going to be an issue.
He's been playing with this on his mind. Every play, he wasn't thinking about football. He was hoping his hamstring didn't give out and reacting to football.
Yeah.
And maybe we can move forward with him playing football while reacting to his body again. And
here's the
this is
thing.
what I hope for.
He doesn't have to be lightning in a bottle every game, like I just said. He doesn't have to be opened up, uncorked. You have 11 other...
Taking the top off the defense once or twice a game and being an inside 20, being a red zone threat is all we need for Christian Watson. So it's very exciting because our wide receiver core, our offense right now is so dangerous. For one, it's just so unpredictable.
It's going to be crazy
good
to see what
and
Jacob
bad.
does.
Yeah. Shout out to, who is this? Bleacher reporter, Christopher Knox. Ugh.
Christopher Knox.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs was a terrible offseason signing.
Oh, really? Considering behind McAfee, he had the most yards from scrimmage in the last 4 years. Yeah, terrible. Absolutely.
That dude owns 15 Aaron Jones jerseys.
Charles, let's be completely honest. That loss, the Las Vegas Raiders offensive line probably is what? Maybe in the 20s as far as graded, 24, 25. They're not a great offensive line. If you could find that out, I'm going to take a wild guess and say the Packer offensive line is at least almost double better what that was as far as offensive production went.
We're about to find out. The AI is responding. They ranked 19th in the entire National League. Yeah, so
well, that's better than I thought. I think the
Middle of the
Packers
pack.
were 8th or something.
Middle of the pack. Which, now, again...
A little worse than middle. 16 would have been middle, so I guess they're a little worse than average.
Yeah. When we're talking... Wow, why are you being this way?
And the guy was hurt all the time. He was hurt all the season.
Yeah, so when we're talking 8th, or when we're talking an offensive line inside the top 10 to an offensive line outside the top 15 in the NFL, that's so wildly... It's so different in the skill gap there.
That could be 300-400 yards.
We're talking like Michigan's O-line last year versus East Carolina's O-line last year. That's more or less the discrepancy you're talking, but it's still NFL, so they're pros.
Sure, I guess you would say it's because there's 300 football teams. So they were a top 150.
Yeah.
Offensive line, and we'll say the Packers' offensive line was top 50.
Yeah, more or less, because for some reason I can't. Led by Zach Tom, and I'm very excited. Zach Tom's healthy. He's coming.
I think
in.
a lot of the Packer guys are healthy this year because
we're all very healthy.
They're saying that guy
Lucas Van F.
Charles, we might have to eat crow with the Packers' first round draft pick as well.
Yeah.
They said this guy is moving all over the field and he's been playing like 4 different positions because they want him to learn them all.
Now,
so you remember Elton Jenkins.
I'm glad you're bringing this up. Okay, here's the thing. Nobody on this show said the dude was going to be terrible. I believe what we were most upset about was that he was picked up in the first round, and he could have been picked up in the second or third round.
But I believe that had he not been injured or coming off injury, they said he would have been a top 10 pick.
He wouldn't have even been there this year, though. He would have been in the draft last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to recover. I get it. But the thing is, they don't need this guy to be a starter. So the fact that they're allowing him to grow and to be the player that he needs to be, he could be that fill-in guy, or a guy comes in on a third down, and
we lost the 40% guy we had, or 53% guy we had.
If this guy can give you 50%, then it's better than what we had.
Yeah, the guy we had that we lost, we had him for 6 or 7 seasons, and he never made it to being a starter. Oh, excuse me. He never made it to being a starter. And we had talked about this a little bit on the show. Oh, that hurt. Exactly. As a Green Bay Packer fan, considering all of the injuries we've had on the offensive line and all of the moving pieces, for somebody to be there which we love the work that you do as a Packer fan, right? But once you're no longer a Packer fan, this is sports. This is how it works. But for you not to become a starter is mind-blowing.
The only season that Bakhtiari literally almost played the whole year, I believe, was Rodgers, one of his MVP season. And I think he played 11 or 12 of those games.
Yeah.
So the most he's played in the last 6 or 7 years is only 2/3 of a season?
Yeah, at most. Yeah.
Never even played a full season.
That's been one of the...
It's crazy.
It's been one of the chilling facts about the Green Bay Packers' recent superstar departures. Okay, so when we said goodbye to Aaron Rodgers, let's be honest, we have not seen good football from him in 4 seasons. And this season is yet to be determined. Oh, he got hurt last season. Yeah, he's old.
Come on, everybody. Go watch the TikTok videos and the YouTube videos and the shorts about Aaron Rodgers. He is limping around, and I don't believe he's going to come back and be 100% this year.
No, absolutely not. And their first game of the year is against that San Francisco defense.
I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be better because you and I both agree they're probably a playoff team. But I'm saying you're not going to see 32-year-old Aaron Rodgers MVP out there. You're going to see 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers out there trying to make it work.
So then we've got the individual we were just talking about, David Bakhtiari.
Bakhti. He has not picked up a team yet, correct?
Correct.
Still sitting
That's
out
because
there.
there's one team. And
Yeah.
I do believe we're going to run into a situation with him where he's not comfortable playing on the veteran minimum because he knows he's going to get hurt. So he wants to come back for money that's worth it.
Right.
On the flip side of that, if I'm the front office, I know this dude's going to get hurt, and I'm not paying you more than the veteran minimum because you're going to get hurt. And that's the thing with David also. In the last 4 or 5 seasons, he has been a fantastic, phenomenal left tackle. Outside of Trent Williams, probably the best.
I thought you were going to say beer chugger.
Yeah, beer chugger also.
Because I'm sorry, that's the only highlights that I've seen of him is him chugging beer at the Bucs games.
Yeah. But you can chug beer like that when you don't have to worry about staying healthy because you're hurt all the time. So
sure, you don't got to work the next day.
We're not going to. We shouldn't miss him in that position because for the last few seasons he was never there. And this is not a knock on him. This is just the reality. Same thing with Aaron Jones. I loved Aaron Jones. I loved him. I loved his story. I wanted to get a sombrero hat. I'm so mad I didn't. Could I now? Maybe. But he plays for the Vikings. I'm not going to until he's done playing in the NFL. But let's be honest. It's something we've seen before, and this time we're just like, maybe we should get a little more capital than when everyone else knows that he's going to be hurt all the time. And I feel bad for saying it, but it's the reality of pro sports. Aaron Jones was hurt all the time.
Yeah, he rarely played a full season. He just like Bakhtiari, or 1A, 1B.
I'm damn glad we brought A.J. Dillon back. That dude gave everything in Aaron Jones's absence last year. And I'm very happy because if he plays like he was playing at the end of last season before he got hurt.
Right.
Between that as a third down option.
Yeah.
Not a third down back.
Well, not reliable. He's reliable, but he's a reliable option, like you said.
A goal line option.
Necessary. Yes.
Right, because Jacobs is a dog. And a lot of people don't know that in this area because they don't watch sports as much as us or they don't listen to it. And for one, he played for Las Vegas his entire career so far.
Yeah.
I don't know many people in Wisconsin who are like, hey, bro, did you catch that Vegas Raiders game last night?
No, not unless they were playing the Niners. But yeah.
For real, man. That was
Speaking of betting on sports, Charles, should we just dive right into it? Should we just bring it up?
Yeah, let's bring it up, and then we can get into the what grinds your gears segment. I think.
All right.
Charles. After this, we'll do Justin Jefferson real quick, and then
All right. I know you really wanted to get into this one really bad. You talked about it earlier on the show. Just a disclaimer. Sorry, Paul. Very sorry. R.I.P. Bears. Bear down.
Any Chicago fans out there,
You might want to turn it off or turn it down.
The channel.
Turn the channel. Yeah.
I think Caleb Williams is closer to Mitchell Trubisky than Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And we can wait too early this all we want. There is some very terrible things coming out of those mini camps that I wouldn't be happy if I was the Packer fan hearing the same thing about Jordan Love the year
It's
Aaron Rodgers left. I would have been
necessarily
just
his play. It's more so his attitude.
it's a mixture for me. It's a mixture of both.
We already got to see it.
Yeah, when you
With
have
USC.
yeah, absolutely.
Temper
When you
tantrum.
have your head coach being asked, "What are some positives?" and he, with a straight face, goes, "Week 2 was better than week 1." And we have to remember that there isn't a straight line to success. It is up and down and up and down. But it is there was much growth between week 1 and week 2, and that's very positive. Bro, what?
That's not something you should say. You talk about like little leaguers when you're coaching a team that they improved, that they could hit the ball and that they were out there in position. You don't talk about a rookie starting quarterback, because let's be honest, he's the starting quarterback next season. Hands
Absolutely.
down. There's not even a question. You mean you I don't even think Vegas would even have a bet out there or some kind of parlay where you could even put that as an option that he wouldn't be the starter.
Do you think a quarterback who's never played in the NFL can go from 13 incompletions with 7 interceptions out of 15 on 7 to making a majority of the passes attempted in week 2? Do we think that as a rookie starting quarterback, like that's where you want to be? Like that's where you
Charles.
want your starting quarterback to be? I don't want my starting quarterback learning where he can and can't throw 2 months before the fucking season starts.
Charles, I'm going to pull your own comment in there. You yourself are personally more closer to Joe Montana than Caleb Williams is to Patrick Mahomes. And these are your words, because you're the one that brought this comment up to me about the NBA one.
Yeah.
Just so that you and I are on the same page. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying in reference
I
to
do.
it. The way that
Yeah.
the comments are going and the way that the people that are commenting and there's literally people at these OTAs that are they're confirming our opinions.
And here's 100%. I agree. And to
And
allow
that was
for
a
a
joke,
little,
everybody, but it was a fun one.
yeah, there's tongue in cheek, understandably, but yes, to allow for a little bit of a cushion. We are firm believers of let them go, let them grow. Okay, we understand that Caleb Williams is going to have a learning curve, indubitably. It's something we should have recognized with the WNBA, but yada, 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 yada. My point is that the way this dude was presented was as if he was the next messiah of football. And the next messiah of football is not learning where he can and can't throw in the NFL.
You should have learned that a long time ago.
Because when we're watching, we're looking at throws going, oh, yeah, you ain't doing that in the NFL. So you've been in college for a long time. You've been in college for too long to be in a situation where you're learning. And let's be real, okay? This is without pads against the Chicago Bears defense, who may have been okay to end the year, but got smacked by the Green Bay Packers. They got smacked by the Detroit Lions. They got fucked up by Minnesota. And as much as people want to talk about Minnesota, Minnesota's got one of the most interesting quarterback rooms this season. That's going to be fun to watch and see how that unfolds. We better have relegated the Bears. That's all I'm saying.
No, I think a couple people did. I might have relegated the Vikings.
Yeah, I was going to
That's
say.
just because I don't like the Vikings. I don't think it had anything to do with that.
I think we ended up relegating the. And I'm using "we" loosely here.
We are.
But the point of to keep the motion flowing here,
Yeah.
is that 8.5 wins for Chicago is a fucking stretch. And you
Yeah,
got a quarterback
probably.
learning where he can throw, and you have half of the players out there without pads not trying to kill you. Throw the ball to Jair Alexander one time. That dude is going to buy Caleb Williams a car at the end of the season. I promise you.
I can see a pick six.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Xavier McKinney. Let's not even get into Detroit or Minnesota, whose defenses are. The Bears have a good defense, and they have an exciting offense on paper.
Right.
But
and Detroit probably has the best pass rush, not the best defense in the NFC, but they've
got
pass
problems
rush.
in their secondaries that are waiting to be filled. Absolutely.
But when that pass rush is getting to the quarterback, they're probably the best defense in the division when they're getting pressure.
It's weird we're not hearing more about the Lions.
No, it's been quiet ever since that whole offseason debacle with that guy that got picked up with the whole with the whole abuse thing with his girlfriend or fiance or whatever. It's been real weird since then.
I'm excited for this newborn rivalry with the Lions.
All of them. All of them. And now the Caleb Williams thing with the Bears, and they're riding high. The fact that they've got so much hype and so much hope just makes it that much sweeter if they're just walk in and just get fucking cakewalked.
Let's just say we've got 4 air balloons. 3 of them are running on that gas, and 1 is trying to fill their balloon with hope. And they've been doing that since 85.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
It is what it is. All right, Paul, we love you, but we're not on that hype train.
Do not discriminate. It's not your fault. You're a Bears fan. It's our fault. We're Packer fans.
I always said to him, I said, if Caleb Williams somehow wins Rookie of the Year, it is not because he was great. It was because the rest of the rookies were fucking terrible.
Yes, my Rookie of the Year is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. That's
a pretty safe bet. Safe bet.
Yeah, he is going to get targets. He's going to. He's got an offense coordinator making plays for him, and Kyler
I heard
Murray
really
have
good
been
things
balling.
about Adonai Mitchell too, out of Indianapolis Colts as well.
Yeah,
he had a really good OTAs practice. They said he's probably going to be their wide receiver number 1, if not number 2. So that's good news for them. They need it, but like you said, the quarterback's got to stay healthy.
I was just going to say my only issue with any Colts player winning an offensive award is the situation steering the offensive ship.
Because even when T.Y. Hilton was going off and they were doing great things there, he couldn't stay healthy either. And it might be that turf. I don't know maybe that's an Indianapolis turf.
It just seems like a lot happens with the turf. And I don't know if it's because we hyper-focus because we've looked into the information we've seen.
I think it's them going back and forth between turf and grass.
Yeah.
I think that's really more what it is.
Maybe we need to look into better cleats.
Yeah.
Maybe cleat-specific environments for turf. And the NFL's got so much fucking money, I can't believe they don't have a research and development team on this already.
They do on the helmets, but that might be Riddell, too, that does that. I'm not entirely sure, but...
Real quick to end the NFL chatter, Justin Jefferson ended up getting 4 years, $140 million.
Yeah. That takes the monkey off his back for sure, but...
Yeah, it becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. It seems like that marker gets broken every year with the salary. I don't even know why we hear those things anymore.
Yeah, why do you keep saying record-breaking? Because with all the gambling money that's going to be coming in the next 3 to 4 years, contracts are going to be... There's probably going to be a $500 million contract within the next 5 years.
I would not be shocked here in the next couple of years if we're seeing a $300 to $500 million salary cap. 3
to 5 years, I think they'll get to... A quarterback will get a $500 million contract. To get a 7-year, $500 million contract. That'll put him at about $58 to $60 million a year.
What if that ends up being Caleb Williams?
Oh, I don't even want to think about this. Pink cell phones for everybody. Hell yeah.
I don't even care about the cell phone as much as what that would mean in the virtue of Bears fans. Oh, man.
They would literally hate themselves if he ended up becoming a bust like Trubisky.
I think he's closer to Mitchell Trubisky than he is Justin Fields.
Yeah, and you're closer to Joe Montana than he is to Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes, yeah. He's best damn quarterback since Joe, or he's best damn linebacker since Joe Montana.
You mean Joe Montana?
Joe Montana was a quarterback, you idiot. I meant Joe Montana. Joe Montana.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm going to get a Bears jersey, custom Bears jersey with Montana on the back of it.
Montana.
Montana. You going to finish that?
Oh man, was he eating a possum?
Eating a hot dog.
Hot dog. Oh man.
So this Justin Jefferson thing, it's interesting to me because it takes it from a situation where he was going to go play for somebody else next year to if he plays for somebody else next year, it's only a handful of teams now who can take on that contract.
I think it called the dogs off for at least a couple years because I think they'll give Sam Darnold 1 year and they'll probably give JJ McCarthy a year. And then if that doesn't work out, he's traded. Or even halfway through JJ's year, if he's struggling, that he's getting traded. But it calls off the dogs for a couple years for sure.
During Aaron Rodgers' struggles, there was immense chatter for Jordan Love to play, correct?
Yeah, there was definitely moments where people were rumbling and mumbling over it for sure.
It got loud at times. Even major news networks and media sportscasting networks took over with it also.
Yeah,
but the front office never folded, did they?
No, they didn't.
The front office never folded. The Vikings need to take notes. You take all of our former players, for the love of God, take notes with J.J. McCarthy.
Well, here's the thing.
As much as I do not like him as a Minnesota Vikings player, I don't want to see his career ruined because he is a Michigan glorified love child.
I sit there and I say this all the time. I'm like, I'm not a Sam Darnold fan. Hell, I call him the cave guy, the super cave guy, for God's sakes. Yeah. But he's probably a more serviceable quarterback than any rookie that's going to come in because he's a veteran. He's a veteran presence. Hell, he made it through getting drafted by the frickin' Jets. He's been through some hell.
Outside of an offensive line,
which he's never had.
Minnesota has a good.
He was in San Francisco, so
and that's where I was going. That's where I was going with this. Outside of an offensive line, his weapons in Minnesota are very comparable when healthy.
All right, you got a great running back, a great tight end, and was it Hawkinson? You got freaking Jefferson, and Madison. You've got weapons all over the place.
Absolutely.
There's no reason this guy can't throw for 3,500 yards in 30 touchdowns. There should be none. I'm just saying. Are we going to
get 20 to 25 interceptions? Or are we going to get 10 to 16 interceptions? Because if we get 10 to 16, interceptions, the Minnesota Vikings are a playoff team. And that doesn't bode well for Green Bay. It might not bode well for Detroit. But do we get the Sam Darnold for the Jets who's seeing ghost and we're going to see 20 to 25 interceptions? But regardless, I think there isn't a third option here. If the Minnesota Vikings are going to hold true, you allow JJ time to breathe. You allow him time to learn. He's a very smart kid. He's going to do well. And you have an elite, if not the best wide receiver in the game. You have one of, if not the best tight end in the game. You have a decent offensive line and a running back. And you have a really good coach in Kevin O'Connell. I think Kevin O'Connell is going to put Sam Darnold in situations that the Jets couldn't put him in, but what Shanahan was able to put him in, and he was able to flourish.
The only negative that I can say about the whole situation with the Vikings is that Kirk Cousins is a way better quarterback than Sam Darnold.
Yes.
We can't say that but like,
as of now, though, you're right.
It's a system, I guess. It doesn't. Maybe it just bodes better for him. Maybe it's closer to what he ran at USC. I don't know, because he was very comfortable in that system. I just can't see them winning 10 games.
I'm going to call it now.
I'm going to say they win 9.
Phillip Rivers. Drew Brees with the Chargers. Drew Brees was a little bit better than Sam Darnold towards the end of his stint with San Diego, but Drew Brees wasn't really who we knew. Which, shout out Drew Brees getting inducted to the New Orleans Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Drew.
Congratulations, Drew. But Drew Brees wasn't really going anywhere with the Chargers.
No, he was in a dead space.
But ended up flourishing with the Saints.
Yeah.
And I think this could be Sam Darnold's case. Sam Darnold was going to be nothing with the Jets, but that's not a Sam Darnold thing. That's a Jets thing. Hell, even Aaron Rodgers couldn't hold the weight of that team on his Achilles. Or ACL, whatever it ended up being.
But he couldn't beat out San Francisco's rookies either.
Brock Purdy was Brock Purdy is a really good quarterback. I don't disagree with you there.
Brock Purdy is a game manager, is he not? More than he is like an elite quarterback. Because I don't think people are afraid of him as like
I think
a gunslinger. You don't put him in the same. I guess I'm saying this wrong. You don't put him in the same category as a Josh Allen, a freaking Joe Burrow, a Tua, a Patrick Mahomes, a guy that can literally take over a game. The defense and the rest of the people around him can take over.
I don't disagree with you. Absolutely. I do not look at Brock Purdy.
I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. No. I'm just saying I don't think of him as
but Brock Purdy is the guy who puts you in the position to take
to
over
win.
the game.
To win.
Yeah. And there's no reason Sam Darnold can't be that either. I think
with the weapons he has, correct. Yeah.
That's the weapons he has on Minnesota and he had on San Francisco were much better than anything he had in the Jets. And the thing with where he's at now is when he was playing, he was in a position where he had to put players in position to make plays. He's now in a spot where he has to put the ball where the player has made the play. And he needs to learn that. Can he learn that? Can he look at the field and go, Justin Jefferson is going to be open, and then make the throw to where Justin's going to be and not create a 50-50 ball? I think those are the two big things for Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
Can he do? Because J.J. McCarthy can with time.
I'm going to go on a limb right now and say lock it in. Detroit Lions win 12 games this season. The Packers win 11. Minnesota wins 9. Chicago Bears win 7.
Yeah.
And that's and I believe the Packers are gonna get the 4 or 5 seed. Because I feel like it's because Detroit's schedule is more favorative than the Packers.
I would not be, because we're so young, I don't think the schedule is going to affect us that much. I wouldn't be shocked if the top of your list was flip-flopped.
It's going to come down to it might come down to head or division for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we'll start the wrap up here. I'm interested. You're interested? You've got a little side piece and a little bit of what rotates our gears in the opposite direction.
Rotates my gears in the opposite
Mr. Patrick
direction.
was recently on a Florida vacay to watch his son graduate. Congratulations on that. I'm sure that was a very beautiful moment.
Very fun. Very fun. But, oh man, Florida. It was at the Florida State Fairgrounds, and talk about that place is freaking massive.
Yeah,
it's massive. It makes any like little. It makes like EAA look like a freaking playground.
Yeah.
That's how big it is. It's nuts. But anyway, from what Mandy and I learned being in Florida, like this is what rotates my gears in the opposite direction. Rent a car. Start heading back. Their highways go in a loop and come back and circle back around. To go one direction, east to west, you've got to go north to south to go back and loop back around to come back the other way. And granted, some of this is because of the bayous and the rivers and the lakes that are around there and the golf courses and stuff like that. You can't go through private property. The highways go up and around and bypass things. But the problem, the thing that we looked at, we're in Tampa, and there was no fucking grocery stores. There was no gas stations. To go to a gas station, you had to go, I think it was 3.5, 4 miles. We are downtown by the resorts, by the freaking movie theaters, all this stuff. No gas stations, no grocery stores, no convenience stores, nothing. And you're talking anything that you had to go to said 3.3 miles, 27 minutes to get there. Fuck that. Fuck living in a big city. Fuck living. I feel bad for any of you that live in the giant city. And this is Tampa. Like, I couldn't imagine living in New York City where it takes 45 minutes to get on the freaking subway to go get some food. That would suck. And to go to dinner, luckily we found a couple restaurants and there was a bar and a restaurant right there by the hotel on the resort on the beach when we were there, which was nice. We got to actually eat food without having to go anywhere. But holy crap, man. Driving there is awful. Everything's awful there.
Oh, my God. We run into this often when we go to the bigger cities.
It makes me appreciate living here a lot more.
Going to Milwaukee a few times a year makes me love Nina so much, dude.
Yeah.
I'll take my because I've been in 1,500 We currently live between 30 and 37,000.
Yeah.
Surrounding areas, it ends up being like 172,000.
Yeah, but it's comfortable. It's not
comfortable.
like this. It's not like you're
No.
smashed into a freaking bubble.
I'm still
you know?
I'm still getting used to the fact that people are terrible drivers for the most part. Like just minivans and Dodges. They just continue to surpass my ability to ascertain any driving knowledge at all.
What's crazy to me is the fact that Wisconsin has had roundabouts for 40 years and people still haven't figured them out to live here.
Yeah, they're putting more in, and I appreciate the roundabouts more now. Like living here and just see, if you have that cross T intersection, even if you don't have the stop sign, like you have to slow down, because there's somebody coming that isn't gonna stop. Like it's just how it is.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful for the roundabouts. Yeah, but it's like you need to be a reactive driver in the city. But when you get into those million-plus situations, it's just so overbearing, bro. It's like,
that's what she said.
Some of them fucking on-ramps, dude, are terrible, man.
We were looking around the corner, and all of a sudden you'd be getting off, and she'd be like, "Am I good to get over?" And I'd be like, "I think so." It'd be like the when you I think it was like, what was it? What movie is that? What the fuck am I thinking of? The Hangover. Alan, am I good? Yeah.
Where did that guy come from? Yeah, it's been, you just question at times, like, how'd you get a driver's license? You know, it's like for a mile, you have signs above your head telling you that this lane is a fucking off-ramp, get over. It just seems every time you got some semi-truck, minivan, or big-ass truck who's, oh, shit.
I'm bigger than you. Guess what's going to happen if you don't get over? I'm just going to put you out of the way.
Oh, my God. And the zipper law, right? Like I call it the zipper law, but it's the zipper courtesy, where so when you're coming on the on-ramp, right? Like it's one car, then fucking zoom, then one car, then zoom, then one car, then zoom. But it's, you get this line and it's okay, 4 cars go, oh, now I'm pissed, now fucking 17, and it's just this terrible.
Well, that's what slows traffic too. Now then it's stop and go to let one car in, go one car and go. It's supposed to be, like you said, smooth and go.
2 things that blow my mind, like, why don't you adhere to the 150 feet rule? Leave 150 feet in between you and the next car.
It's going to get to that point, like Tesla and all these other car companies, I believe BMW and Lexus are putting it in there, where the vehicle is not going to allow you, it's going to auto brake for you and not allow you to get that far, that close.
I fucking hope so. Because here's the thing, if everybody adhered to that 150 foot rule, traffic would never become a standstill.
Right, now obviously that rule doesn't apply to under 15 miles an hour. Like you're gonna have bumper to bumper traffic, but when you're on an interstate and you're going
the interstates, 55 to 127.
That gives any car enough money, enough movement, enough ability to move over, to merge, to switch lanes.
Right. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And you just, I laugh all the time, especially inside the city too, where I'll be going. I am that guy, right? I'm
gonna have Mandy make you a vinyl sticker for your Subaru that says I effing hate minivans, or minivans. Move over if you're in a minivan.
Yeah, we gotta find some stickers. But I go, so if the speed limit's 30, I go about 32 because there's no sense of going any faster. But if you come up on my ass and I'm going 32 and you're like, no, my life is 35 or more, I'm now going 28 because I live within the 4. Yeah. I live within the 4. I'll go too high or too low, but I live within the 4. And the moment you ride my ass, because I'm already going faster than the posted speed limit. And most of the time when you're in a 25 to 30 range, it's residential, school. Schools are 15 during the active hours.
Yeah.
So even 32 is pushing it, but I got a vehicle that'll stop itself.
Yeah.
Most of these vehicles
doesn't mean that you should drive like an asshole in front of me.
I've never had the vehicle. I did have the vehicle think one time.
That it was
really weird.
Do it.
Yeah, it was a really weird situation up in the UP. And I was driving through Escanaba and one of the side turns by the Buck Inn. Like the vehicle slammed on its brakes in the middle of the road and then shifted over. and my car, like, and I heard it and everything. It was like beep beep, and like it started to hit the brakes.
Yeah.
And there was a whole bunch of cars behind me. Like, it was weird. There was more than enough that I could have done in any direction to, other than stopping. Stopping was the absolute worst fucking thing I could have
Right.
done.
It was just letting you know, hey, I'm here. I'm here. Hey.
When I first got the car, it tried to stop twice, and because I heard the beep as I was stopping.
Yeah.
And then the vehicle learned, oh, this guy knows how to drive. And I haven't heard it since that moment. But yeah, I don't care. And if you continue to ride my ass at 28, I'll go even lower. We'll start crawling because there's a stoplight up there eventually, and I'll lose you at it. I don't care. It's so crazy. I just don't understand it. But that's interesting. Of all the things I've heard about Florida, I never considered the roads. So I wonder
Yeah,
how
the
the roads are in Tennessee.
The roads are not hard to maneuver and to get around, but like you said, it's
Not
just,
like Michigan.
it's not like Wisconsin and it's not like Michigan. The way that they're set up, it's set up to get to where you need to go, but not to get, once you're in the city, you can get there. Once
Yeah.
you're in this on the city streets, but the highways are more about which direction do you need to go, east, west, north, south. It's not necessarily your destination, because we went to Clearwater. We would take a go out and loop, turn around and loop left to go to Clearwater, because we would go over the big canal and stuff that they got there, the causeway. You get over that, and then all of a sudden it's you want to go to St. Pete's? You want to go to you want to go back to Tampa? Did you miss your turn? Are you sure you don't want to go back to Tampa? Like, it tells you like 5 times. If I'm going this direction, which is nowhere near, and the only thing in this other direction is the fucking ocean, clearly you missed your turn, because Tampa's way the fuck back there, and Clearwater and St. Pete's are this way. I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
Question. Do we think it's because Florida is generally filled with dumbass young people,
Tourists,
and really
probably.
old people?
Probably.
So the multiple warning signs have been a learned trait over the years of constant ridicule and destruction.
And the messed up part is your GPS is even more confusing to you too, because it's like, hey, you missed it. Hold on, I'll reroute you. Hey, if you go this way and go underneath this bridge and then come back that way, in 7 miles, you can get back on the interstate. I just passed it 35 feet ago. What do you mean I gotta go 7 miles?
Switching phones is becoming very difficult.
Yeah.
Because I went from the Apple GPS to now Google.
Now you got the Google, yeah.
And it's been terrible. And like at the beginning, right? So like roundabouts in particular with the Apple GPS. Okay, so let's say that there's 3 exits on this roundabout. The first one, you keep going straight. The second one is turn 2. And the third one is turn 3. So you come up to it, and Apple's like, all right, take the second exit in this roundabout. All right, cool. And you just go, and then after you exit correctly, it then tells you what you're doing next. And if you then exit incorrectly, it then reroutes you. So I'm driving up to a roundabout, and it tells me, all right, go to the second exit. I'm like, okay. And just as I get to the first, it starts screaming, exit now! And I fucking cut the wheel hard to the right, and I keep going straight, and then I hear rerouting. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I knew where I was going, but because the GPS and maybe I was zoned out. I don't know. Doubt it, though. I'm an excellent driver, so I definitely wasn't zoned out. But and I was so pissed. I almost threw the phone out the window, and I felt bad for the wife.
You should try.
God damn it! Fucking Apple wouldn't have fucking done this to me. Fuck.
Try Waze. Waze is a good one too.
Yeah.
App, the GPS app.
The thing with the Apple one too is that it was super informative, dude, and it was super simple to use. If there was a hazard that wasn't marked yet, like I don't have to do a bunch of things.
Waze has that because it allows the users of the app to put in obstructions and police checkpoints and all that.
Yeah. See, now on Google, I gotta.
Yeah, Google.
If I don't have a
is not
passenger,
informative.
if I don't have a passenger, I can't, because you got to push into so many buttons. You got to scroll, and I don't want to tell other drivers if the sky is blue. If I have to tell you that the sky is blue, you shouldn't be fucking driving. There should be 3 fucking options here, and instead you're giving me 50.
How's the weather out there?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Is this
I
a
don't
good
care.
coffee spot? I am on I-41 going 90 fucking miles an hour. That's a lie. I don't
Right.
go 90. Going 75 miles an hour. Because I'm not as young as I once was. I am closely approaching the cruising at what the speed limit sign says. and
Right.
You can go around me if you need to. So yeah, it's been interesting to say the least. But yeah, that was a fun story. I was interested to hear about Florida and their roads. And I've always wondered if the old and young people have dominated the scene so much that you basically have "Don't put plastic bags around your head" signs everywhere.
Definitely a younger generation, a younger crowd that are on the road there, especially like towards nighttime. Like you don't see a lot of elderly people driving around at night.
No,
It's a lot of blinding light. If you have cataracts or something, stay off those roads because holy shit, it's gonna look like the 4th of July out there for you.
just brights everywhere.
Oh, lights everywhere, yeah. Coming
Yeah.
at you, coming over top of you.
That's really cool to see. Oh, bummer. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think we finished it pretty strong today. It was good.
Yeah, we touched on all the scripted pieces that we wanted to talk about. Cool. For everyone out there listening, continuing to comment, for one, we are so grateful. We appreciate all of the lifetime you give us. We will continue to be here for as long as the universe allows it. We really love what we do. We enjoy hearing all of your takes. We wish some of you would keep it a little cleaner, but it's the internet, and we know there's nothing we can do about that. Continue to allow the rest of the internet to see who you are on the inside and out. We're just here as a platform for you to be who you are. Again, June is an awareness month for many things. 2 of the things closest to this show's heart, of course, is dairy and PTSD awareness. So that's something that we will continue to shout all June. Thank you for all your cows out there. And for those of you, I know this comes as a complete shock, but chocolate milk does not come from brown cows.
Brown cows?
Yeah, it is in fact a process, and all the milk comes from the same fucking cows. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if you
Yeah.
want brown chocolate milk, you better not go at the other end of the cow.
Yeah, those gloves that you see are dairy
Those aren't
farmers.
chocolate. Those aren't
Yeah,
chocolate
that's not-
gloves.
Yeah, that's not chocolate gloves. You will not get cacao beans from the ass end of a cow, but you will get cacao.
Cacao. You will get cacao.
You will get cacao. But on a much more sombering note, with the PTSD awareness, PTSD is something that even in my beginning stages, it was labeled as garbage anxiety. We're still learning, but something I know personally is that all PTSD is the same. What we deal with individually might differ, and how we deal with each individual situation might differ. But the pain, the anxiety, the fear, the depression, the exhaustion, it's all the same. We are all, those of us that carry this, we are all fighting the same fight. So don't be afraid to talk. Don't think that your PTSD is less than others in the room. That is the disease talking to you. That is not the truth. The truth is we are here for you. We care about you. Reach out to us, reach out to anybody who has told you in the past they want to talk to you or will talk to you, because it's the truth. We care about you whether you care about yourself in that moment or not. We love you more.